Hello and welcome to the commentary of Predictor for the Premier League, starting with week number 1. The Premier League season is just around the corner, starting off with some great games on opening weekend, including the big rivalry between Manchester United and Leeds United. I'm Russ and I'm representing the commentary of this week, and our guest coming up against me is the brilliant, none other than one of our very own from the commentary, Mr. Mike Harniman. And Mike, how are you doing, my friend? You okay?
Yeah, really well, Russ. Great to be on. Obviously, doing my predictions against you this week, and let's see, whether I can come out on top. But it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to obviously the new season as well. It's not been very long since the Euros. The football league's back underway, and now the main leagues are getting back underway with the Premier League as well. So, yeah, excited, mate. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to covering some games for the commentary hub as well.
Yes, absolutely, Mike. And what I'm going to do is just going to tell people what's going to happen. So, it's going to be 1 point for the correct result. So if you say Man United, for example, Mike, if you say Arsenal is going to beat Brentford and the win, you'll get 1 point.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's going to be 2 points for the correct score. Mm-hmm. So if you say Arsenal to win 2-1 and Arsenal do win 2-1, you'll get 2 points for that, plus 1 point for the correct result as well, because you say Arsenal is going to win. So you'll get a total of 3 points in total. So we'll say if you put 2-1 down,
and it ends up 1-0, then you get 1 point. Yeah, understand. Yeah,
and you get one point.
Yeah,
but not the correct score. So you'll just get 1 point for that. But correct result and score, you'll get 3 points. Okay. We'll say if you put 2-1 down, and it's 2-1 to Brentford, say for example.
Yeah.
It's still the correct score in the match, so it's still 2-1. You'll get 2 points for that. But to get the correct score and result, is you've got to do say for example Arsenal 2-1 and Arsenal win 2-1. You've got to do it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely understand. Yeah.
So we'll start off the match. The first one is the match tomorrow, and we're going to be covering this game on the channel as well. I'm going to say, or should I say, it's going to be on the channel a little bit later on this evening, should I say, as this goes out this evening. Brentford against Arsenal. I'll just see this game going first of all, Mike, and then I'll tell you what I say afterwards, my friend.
Okay, I think it's going to be a close game. Brentford newly promoted, of course, and got that bit of a bounce, in their stride as well. Going up into the Premier League as well. I'm sure they're buzzing about that at the moment. And Arsenal at the moment, a bit of a mess. It's the younger players for Arsenal that potentially could win it for them. I think Arsenal will just edge it. Yes, Arsenal. I'm an Arsenal fan as well, as anyone that's listening to this will know. Started off last season against Fulham and beat Fulham on the opening day quite convincingly. Of course, that's without fans though as well, and that's going to make a big difference having the fans back into the stadium. But I do think there's still enough quality about Arsenal. So 2-1 Arsenal for me. Back to you, Russ.
Yes, Michael. Like you say, it's going to be a close game, mate. I think, but I'm going for a draw, Michael. This one I think it'll be 1-1 draw. I think, having watched Brentford in the Championship last season, and the stadium is a very odd place to go. Like Griffin Park were an odd place to go. This Brentford Stadium has become an odd place to go as it was towards the end of last season in the Championship, and I think it'll be a tough place to go for any team in the Premier League, whether that is Leeds, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, anyone like that. And I think it's going to be a close game, like yourself, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one.
All right. So I've gone 2-1 to Arsenal. You've gone 1-1. Okay.
Yes, the next game, Mike, Man United against Leeds. How do you see this one going, mate? Do you reckon Man United will win, or do you reckon Leeds could get the win? Because from what I've heard on other channels when watching their previews of Man United fans channels, Leeds United fan channels, the
Yeah.
Man United fans seem to think it could be a very close game, and Leeds could potentially get them because of there's going to be no Edison Cavani. He's just come back a couple of days ago. There's rumours that Sancho will start on the bench. Rafael Varane, if he signs in time, will start on the bench as well. And it looks like it'll
Yeah.
be Lindelof and Maguire. And a lot of Man United fans say Lindelof maybe the weak link in the back two. Do you think that could be Do you think that could be a problem if Lindelof and Maguire start for Man United on Saturday lunchtime?
I think that that's going to be a really interesting game because Leeds started off last season in an absolute thriller as well. Was it a 7-goal thriller, I believe, something like that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Leeds, fantastic side, really, really good players that they've got there in the likes of Bamford, of course, and some of the other players as well. Bamford being the main one, obviously, who knows where the back of the net is and scores their fair amount of goals. But yeah, Calvin Phillips, of course, fantastic Euros as well. So it's going to be an interesting game. It depends on Jadon Sancho, obviously, as well, and Rafael Varane. Maybe they'll play, maybe they won't. And it's going to be interesting, really. I see this being a really, really good game. Really, sort of to and fro in between the two sides. And I've gone a 2-2 draw with the old Desmond. So, yeah.
As you know myself, Mike, and probably a lot of people listening to this will know as well, I'm the resident Leeds United fan here on the commentary hub, and I've gone for a very close game. I can see there being 5 goals in this one, and I've gone for a 3-2 Leeds United. And the reason behind this, Leeds in the past few seasons under Bielsa, in the past 3 seasons under Bielsa, in the first 2 in the Championship and last season in the Premier League, Leeds have always scored 3 goals on the opening day, at least 3 goals on the opening day weekend of the season. I can see that continuing, and I can see Leeds just edging it 3 goals to 2, and Leeds United will mark Bielsa's new contract, which he signed yesterday as this goes out. Signed his new 1-year contract. You can see Leeds nicking it by 3 goals to 2. The next one, which I'm going to go, and I'll go first on this one, Mike, is going to be
go for it.
Burnley against Brighton. 3:00 kickoff on Saturday, and I can see Brighton winning this. When you look at Burnley's squad, and their only key signing is Wayne Ennis, I said on the podcast last night, is really been a bit of a problem for Burnley, and with Nick Pope, and especially if you get injuries, I'm not sure what the squad's looking like for this opening day of the season, but I can see Brighton winning this comfortably, and I'm going for a 3-0 win for Brighton.
See, I've gone very close with this fixture again. All of my predictions have been close so far with the 2-1 and the 2-2. But in regards to this one between Burnley Brighton, I think that it's going to be another really, really close game. Two sides that are, for me, going to struggle this season. As you would have heard on the podcast last night, or you might listen back to on the podcast, I've got Burnley as one of my sides to go down. I think Brighton won't be too far above the drop zone themselves either. So, unfortunately, I've got this one as a drab 0-0. To be fair,
yes, it'd be interesting to see if it is a drab 0-0, Mike, or whether there is going to be goals in this game. I think, like I mentioned, I think there will be goals in this game. Just how many goals is going to be the question is if for anybody's guess, especially with the way Burnley play at times. It'd be interesting to see if Burnley do manage to get off to a positive start or whether they won't. I've gone that they won't. You've gone they'll get a point on opening day. I've gone for
Yeah,
defeat.
yeah,
Next game, Mike, London derby, so to call. Chelsea against Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira's first official match in charge of Crystal Palace, if you take away the friendlies.
uh-huh.
Do you think he can get off to a positive start in this one?
Not against Chelsea, not for me. Chelsea going to be flying high on the back of that Super Cup win in midweek. But of course they beat Villarreal on penalties. Got some real talent that they've not just signed, with Lukaku, but that's already in the squad as well with Vernon and Havertz and Pulisic, Ziyech, Reece James, Ben Chilwell, all the way through that side. Mason Mount as well. Of course, I didn't mention just in that other list of names there. And then Palace really, I think they're without Eze. I think Eze's injured. So their only real threat is going to be Zaha. And I think Chelsea's back line have more than sort of got enough about them to deal with him. So I just see this being a really comfortable win for Chelsea. I'm going to go Chelsea 2, Palace 0.
Yes, so Mike's gone for a 2-0 win for Chelsea in this one. I think he's going to be a one-sided game, and I think Chelsea will end up winning this one quite comfortably in the end, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go for a 4-0 Chelsea win. I think
I nearly went for 4-0, then I changed my mind at the last minute.
Yeah, I think 4-0. I think Romelu Lukaku, signed on Thursday evening, will get back amongst the goals for Chelsea. I can see him having a really good season there, and I think he'll get their goal tally up from what he was for the previous season. I can see Chelsea just if they get an early goal, I can see them putting them to the sword and scoring 4 in total. And I think Lukaku may even get a brace on his debut should he feature from the start.
I think if Lukaku's involved, he'll get himself a goal. I can see that for sure, yeah.
Yes, the next game that we're going to, Mike, is Everton against Southampton. Theo Walcott coming back to Everton after leaving them to join Southampton. And do you feel that could be a problem for Everton? And obviously, they've had one of their players who's been suspended recently, which we're not going to go into too much detail into why, due to investigations currently happening. We're not going to say where or say who the player is in question. But do you think that player, Mike, who was a key player towards back end of last season, may be a big miss for Everton this season? And if so, do you think it'll be a big miss in this game? And also another question, Mike, Walcott, do you think he'll have an impact and have a point to prove? And do you think he'll score in his return to Goodison Park?
It's always the way, isn't it, for a player to go back to one of their old haunting grounds and score a goal. Walcott would always do it at the Emirates when he returned back to Arsenal, whether that was for Everton or for Arsenal, for Everton or Southampton. Sorry, let me correct myself there. It's always the way it always tends to score. I think DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, is potentially out as well, or definitely doubtful for that game. I think Everton have strengthened well. They've got some good players in. I think Southampton will score. It'll probably be Walcott. I'm going to go Everton to win it by. Let's go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 to the Toffees.
You've gone 3-1 for the Toffees, Mike. I've gone for 2-1 to the Toffees. I think they'll just edge it. I think it'll be close. I think the only probably one-sided. I've only gone for 2 really one-sided matches so far in my name, which is Brighton to win comfortably against
Burnley. Yeah,
Burnley, and then Chelsea to win 4-0 so far.
yeah.
I think Everton will just edge this. I think, like you say, I think Walker will score. I think Calvert-Lewin will possibly score for Everton
If he plays, yeah, yeah.
if he plays, and potentially I would probably go for the other goal scorer, Yerry Mina, if he
Yeah,
plays as well. I
up
think he could
up from a set
potentially
piece. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
score from a set piece. I think that'll be a very a good one there. And I think they'll win 2-1. And I think with Southampton, Mike, another one which we didn't really touch upon they were mentioned on the I think it was Jack mentioned on the podcast last night, and
Hmm.
when you listen back to it, and us two have not really spoken to it on here with regards to Southampton. I
No,
think they'll miss. I think they'll miss the goals from Danny Ings this season. I think
100%. Yeah,
he's going to be a big loss for them, and I think that's possibly why I can only see him scoring one goal in this. Say if Danny Ings was involved, I think he would have probably gone with Desmond in this one. But since he's moved on, I can only see him scoring one with Theo Walcott scoring. I don't think Adam Armstrong will have enough of an impact
no.
straight away
It
to get
depends
on the
on
score sheet.
James Ward-Prowse as well. Obviously, James Ward-Prowse has been linked with a move away at the moment. So sometimes when players are linked with moves away, they don't feature, do they? So it'd be interesting to see whether JWP actually features for the Saints as well.
Yes, he will, Mike. The next game is a very good key battle as well. Our friend Foxes,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Reed up against
Yeah,
our
and of
very
course Brad as well. Yeah,
and his mate Braddix as well up against our very own the commentary hubs Kieran Riley's Leicester
yeah.
against Wolves Midlands Derby. I see this one going, Mike. I reckon it's going to be a Desmond. I'm going for a 2-2 in this one.
I think Leicester will nick it. I think Wolves have got some good players. Of course, they've got Jimenez coming back or back now. They've still got Neves as well. He'll play, even though there's rumours about him maybe moving on as well. He'll play for Wolves, no doubt. And if you look at Leicester, Jamie Vardy, of course, fantastic. Ian Nacho as well. Leicester have got the Community Shield behind them as well, and a bit of confidence from that. So, yeah, I think be a relatively close game, in my opinion. But Leicester to nick it. I'm going to go 2-1 for the Foxes this time around.
Yes, and next one, Mike. Newly promoted Watford are at home. They start off with against Aston Villa, who fetched in Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, as we've mentioned as well.
Yeah, very good signings. Yeah.
Emi Buendia as well, who had a very good championship season, winning season last year with
Mm-hmm.
Norwich City. We've obviously got Emi Martinez, who you'll know really, really well, who came in last season as well.
Yeah.
They fetched back Ashley Young back to Villa
Yeah,
Park on a
big
free
signing as well.
transfer
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Spent 25 million on Danny Ings, 30 million on Leon Bailey, 33 million on Emi Buendia. So really big players there. But then they've lost Jack Grealish for 100 million, lost Neil Taylor who's got released,
Yeah,
Tom Eaton got released and went back to Manchester United, Elmer
yeah.
Amadi got released as well, Bjorn
Mm-hmm.
Engels has left as well. Some of their players who was in and around the team. The veteran Axel Twanzebe on loan till the end of the season as well. Aston Villa. So they've fetched some key players. They've got Watford in the first game of the
Mm-hmm.
season on Saturday at Vicarage Road. Newly promoted Watford. Do you think Villa will do well in this game? And do you think they'll do well in the season, Mike?
Yeah, for me, Villa are going to have a good season. Yes, they've lost Jack Grealish, but I think the fact that they've replaced him, Leon Bailey, also Emi Buendia, sorry, as well, two really, really good signings. Danny Ings has come out of absolutely nowhere, but he was one of the top, goal scorers in the division last season. At the Saints, of course, when he was over there on the south coast, and I do think Villa are going to. I saw Watford in pre-season. I don't think Watford are anything spectacular at all. I think Villa are going to do bits against them. To be honest, on the weekend, I'm going to go 3-0 Villa.
I've actually given Watford a goal in this one, Mike. But I think Villa will win comfortably. I've gone 3-1 Aston Villa. I can't see anything other than a Villa winning this one on opening weekend of the season. Coming up to the final 3 matches now, Mike, and it's only going to be a short prediction, and then what we'll do on the next week's one by whoever's presenting, whether it's me, yourself, or one of the other guys up against
we'll
a
go
guest.
through the results.
We'll
from
go
this
through
week.
the results from this one, dissect who do you think,
Yeah.
how do you think the teams did, and then preview their matches. But
Fair
for this
enough.
one, Mike, is another newly promoted side in Norwich City.
Yeah.
And they are at home to Liverpool, who didn't have the very best of seasons last year, losing Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, Joe Matip. They're currently without Andy Robertson, although he's not going to be a long-term thing, only about a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Andy Robertson said I think it was on Wednesday evening, just before they played Osasuna in a friendly. Up against newly promoted Norwich City at Carrow Road. Fans back in these grounds, as we should mention as well, Mike.
Yeah.
Do you think Liverpool will have enough to beat Norwich, and do you think Norwich will score in this one?
When you look at this game, I think Liverpool are going to be runaway winners of this game. To be honest, I think yes, I like Norwich. I think they've got some really good players in there still. Todd Cantwell, Max Aarons, Timu Pukki, etc. But I do think when you look at Liverpool, they're getting a lot of these players back now and back fit. And of course, you'll probably see the front line of Salah, Mane, probably Jota or Firmino. I'm not too sure who yet, but either way, there's plenty of quality there for Liverpool. So for me, Norwich won't even score in this one. I've put Villa to win 3-0. I've got Liverpool 4-0. So yeah.
Yes, I've gone for a 4-1. I think they'll get one, Mike. It'll be a late one, and I think it'll be Timu Pukki. I think he'll continue his scoring run that he had in the yellow and green of Norwich City last season. I think he'll continue again to score, and I think they'll get a goal. But I think Liverpool will be too strong. I think Mane, Firmino, Salah, and potentially Jota will get on the score sheet for Liverpool. I think they'll score 4 as well, Mike. I think it'll be 4-1 to Jurgen Klopp's men as they try and get back the Premier League title, which they lost to Manchester City last time out. Next one, Mike, which I'll mention first. I think it'll be a very good game. This, I think, is going to be a very close game as well. Newcastle against West Ham. I've gone for a 2-1 win for West Ham. I think West Ham will just edge it for me in this one. How do you see this one going, Mike?
Yeah, I really like this fixture. Really, I think there's 2 really good sides. West Ham were excellent last season. A real big surprise in how they finished. Newcastle finished really well, signing Joe Willock as well. Looks like that deal was going to be done in time, so he'll probably play a big part in the game against West Ham. And West Ham have got some good players in that midfield area. Of course, Declan Rice had a really, really good Euros alongside Calvin Phillips as well, didn't he? So, and I'll go level pegging. I'm going to go 1-1.
Okay. Mike's gone for 1-1. I've gone for a 2-1. Mike, we've got to the final game of the weekend in the Premier League now. It's a very mouth-watering clash. It's the battle of Harry Kane. Will he stay at Tottenham? Will he go to Manchester City? Tottenham Man City is our final game of the Premier League weekend. And Mike, how do you think this game will go? Do you think Tottenham will win it, or do you think Manchester City will win?
It's a hard one to call because it all depends on the Harry Kane situation, whether he's fit enough to be involved. First of all, having come back late from his break from after the Euros and how much training he's had, etc. And also, whether Nuno Espirito Santo actually wants to play him as well. I'm sure he'll be involved in some capacity, whether it's from the bench or starting. He'll probably be starting, to be honest, for Tottenham, in my opinion. Will he be there in a couple of weeks? Toss a coin. I don't know, to be honest with you, but I think he'll play in this game against City. And actually, when you look at the 2 sides, they're really, really well matched actually as well in a lot of areas. Man City obviously very, very strong with Raheem Sterling. and a couple of other players. Don't even know if Raheem Sterling's going to play. He hasn't played a lot in pre-season, if at all either. So, it'd be interesting, and I think that Son obviously is another big name player for Tottenham, and how he performs. But I like the look of this fixture. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. I'm going to go Tottenham 2, Man City 3.
And I've gone for this one, Mike. I've gone for a Man City victory. I can't see Tottenham scoring in this one myself personally, Mike. I've gone for a 3-0 Manchester City victory in this one. I think Man City will be too strong for Spurs in the end, and I can see them coming out on top with a comfortable victory, the citizens, in the end.
Yeah.
And just before we wrap up, and what I'll do before we wrap up as well, I'll put the predictions up on the screen so people can see
What's
what
been said?
me
Yeah.
and you have said, Mike, so then they can
Cool.
take a screenshot and keep it there. We'll keep a copy. I'll keep a copy
I'll
on
take
my
a copy
end as
well.
well.
Yeah.
And Mike will make a note of it as well. I'll send it across to Mike as well. What I will do now, I'm just getting this sorted, is just quickly to you, Mike, while I'm just getting this loaded up to put up on our screen, Mike, here for the
Go for it. Yeah.
first week of
Mm-hmm.
the season.
Yeah, go for it.
If you have a look at the matches, so you have a look at the games. Speaking of Arsenal so far, Mike, obviously you're an Arsenal fan, as majority of our people will know.
Yeah, and obviously I'm covering them later on tonight against Brentford as well, with fingers crossed Justin Hoyt alongside me, which will be great. Yeah.
Obviously we mentioned it briefly on the podcast. Obviously Aaron Ramsdale being linked. If it's not Aaron Ramsdale, obviously I know what you said on the podcast, but for those who missed it on the podcast, I know you're not that keen on
No, I'm not
Aaron
keen
Ramsdale.
on Ramsdale.
Why who would you go for then to be coming as a? Because I think he'll come in potentially as a backup goalkeeper. Who do you think will come in place of him? Who do you think he'll get instead?
That's personally my opinion. I don't really want the deal. I do think the deal will probably go through. But personally, I think Neto, is it Neto? I really like him as a goalkeeper. I think he could be another option to look at, absolutely, for potential. And Nana would be my number one, but obviously he's still banned until I think November sort of time. But I love him probably in the January window. I'd absolutely take him, and I love him as number one for the second half of the season onwards. Yeah.
Yes, so Mike will go for Onana.
Only 28 minutes and you started singing. It's not bad for a week, almost a weekend, mate. It's not bad.
Yes, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put up on the screen right now, guys. This is one me and Mike's gone, so you can take a copy of those results where we've gone for there. I'll just leave it on screen for a couple of minutes, and as you can see them on screen as well, Mike.
It looks like you put Tottenham 6, Man City 3 there. I know what you said, but it looks like you put 6-3 there. That is my bad eyesight.
It is, Mike. I've gone. It says 0-3 there, Mike. I can assure you of that. It says 0.
It's probably probably my bad eyesight, mate. To be honest.
There we go, Mike. 0-3.
Yeah, I see that.
Well, there's the scores up on the screen there, guys, and it's Mike's bad eyesight. But yeah, I've gone for 0-3 on the prediction for the matches there, Mike, as you can see up on the screen. And if you just look through those, who do you think anyone's could be correct to the weekend? Obviously, you're going to probably say yourself, but this is what you realistically. But looking at the signings, who do you actually 3 promoted sides, Mike? Obviously, you mentioned it on the podcast. For those who missed it on the podcast, out of the 3 newly promoted sides, who do you think is going to finish the highest out of the 3? if you've got can only pick one, who do you reckon is going to finish that? Because for me,
I've got
I
mine. I've
think
got mine already. I know it straight away, mate. Brentford for me.
I've gone for Watford for me, Mike. Mine's Watford.
Okay, well, Brentford for me, I like the look of them. I think they've got obviously Ivan Toney, really top draw striker, excellent in the Championship. If he can bring that form into the Premier League, as many have over the years. Patrick Brentford, in fact, being the name that also did it fairly recently for Leeds, obviously. I can see Brentford going on and doing really well. Obviously, they've got other players in there as well. I think it's is it Jensen, the attacking mid. I quite like
Yeah,
him.
Matthias Jensen. Yeah.
There's a number of others as well. Which if you look at their sort of squad there, there's enough about them, in my opinion, to stay up and three worst teams, and then probably maybe even more than three worst teams than them. Obviously, David Raya, really good goalkeeper. He was linked with Arsenal a couple of years back. Sergi Canos, good player. Obviously, they've got Pontus Jansson, the captain, as well, who really well from his time at Leeds, and Christopher Ayer as well, who they signed from Celtic, who the Norwegian centre back, who I really rate. I like him a lot. Yeah.
Yes, and it's going to be a tough game for Arsenal on the opening weekend, Mike. Obviously, you've gone for a narrow win. I've gone for a draw. We'll find out who's going to come out on top when we follow the game on the commentary up tomorrow with Mike and hopefully Justin Oit. But stay tuned for that. We've got great matches coming up this weekend. Also got Man United, Leeds tomorrow, and we've also got Norwich against Liverpool as well, and also Tottenham against Man City on Sunday. So make sure you stay tuned to hear. And Mike, also you've got a couple of other things that you do as well.
Yes, mate. Indeed.
Would you like to mention where else we can find you? Where else our listeners can find you other than here on the Commentary Hub?
Where can't you find me these days, mate? I'm absolutely everywhere. So Twitter, the personal Twitter is Stephen Isguna. You can give me a follow on that one. The Instagram is Harney Storm FM. If anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, feel free. And also SFC interviews as well, which is on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and the Worldwide Gooner Elite as well, which is at Gooner Elite on Twitter. And we are, I believe, around about 2,500, possibly might have even broken that record now for 2,500. Which I was aiming to get before the start of the season. It does look like I probably have for the channel, which is great.
Yes, go and check those out, guys. They'll be I'll put the links to Mike's channels in the description below. For this week, we're doing an audio one just to set it off, and then because we're just talking about the matches that we've got coming up this weekend. When we've got other matches, when we've got the previous week's matches to discuss and matches coming up, what we will do, both myself and the guests will come up on video and we'll discuss it that way, so you get to see us. And if you want to see what Mike looks like and myself,
just scroll
just
back.
Just go back to the podcast
Yeah.
For the video from yesterday, and you'll get to see that is there. But Mike, thank you very much for coming on as the first guest on the Commentary Hub Premier League predictions for week one, part of 38.
Yeah, absolutely. No worries at all, mate. If you want me again, just give me a shout. Enjoyed it, and best of luck to you, mate. Hopefully it's going to be a really interesting, enthralling, and entertaining first Premier League weekend of the season. Let's hope that plenty of goals, plenty of talking points, plenty of drama. Please not too many VAR decisions. So we'll skip over that.
Yes, but from all of us here for the Commentary Hub, thank you for listening to this. Tune in later as Mike Harniman, hopefully alongside Justin Oit, will bring you the match between Brentford and Arsenal in our first alternative commentary of the new Premier League season. From all of us here, good night.